our channel, and as you can see from the title, we're making stuffed steak, crispy potatoes, and Parmesan asparagus. So we're just going to get started. We have 5 potatoes here, and we're just going to cut them up, season them, and pop them in the oven. We're going to do this first because potatoes tend to take longer than any meat or vegetable or other vegetable that you'll cook. So we're going to go ahead and cut up our potatoes, season them, and pop them in the oven. We'll be back. Okay, so there are our potatoes all cut up. That was quick, wasn't it? So we cut them up small so that they can cook evenly. If you have your potatoes all different sizes, the cook time is going to be all different times. So you want to cut them up as evenly as possible. And now we're going to season them, put some onion and green pepper in there with them, and pop them in the oven. So we have our green pepper and onion cut up. Green pepper and onion are essential. Okay, so if you go to the grocery store and you're just like a beginning cooker like me, and you're like, I want to start cooking stuff, but I don't know what stuff to get, always get a green pepper and onion. Now, if you don't like it, don't get it, but green pepper and onion can go in almost any meal, any dish, and they bring so much flavor to any dish. So you always want to get you a fresh green pepper and a fresh onion. Even if you aren't the best cook, they'll bring so much flavor to any dish, okay? So we have our green pepper, our onion, and our potatoes here, and we're going to season these with oregano, onion powder, garlic powder, Mrs. Dash, and sea salt. And we're gonna put some olive oil in there and just mix it all around, okay? So now that they're all evenly seasoned, we're gonna just spread them out all over the pan, because guess what? That's gonna help them cook evenly and faster, as opposed to them being all piled on top of one another. And every so often we're gonna go inside the oven and just move them around with a spoon. We're gonna put them in the oven on 350 and let them cook. So next here we have our asparagus. We are making Parmesan garlic asparagus, excuse me. And we have fresh asparagus here, fresh garlic, and freshly shredded Parmesan cheese, okay? So we're going to cut off, I don't know if you guys have ever worked with asparagus, but you're gonna cut off the ends to about right there. So we're gonna cut off those ends and chop up our garlic. So if you don't know how to mince up garlic, you just take your knife and you just keep going over it. Keep bringing it together and just keep chopping. Keep chopping. Keep chopping. have a steak here, and I'm only making some for myself and my husband. The children have already eaten. So this steak is pretty thick, and I'm going to butterfly it like we would do the chicken, because when you do stuffed steak, you want to have like a somewhat thinly sliced piece, but you want to have quality meat. So sometimes the thin ones aren't the best cut of meat. So what I like to do when I'm doing stuffed steak is get a thick cut and then butterfly it. So I'm going to dry this one, pat this dry, and butterfly it. We're gonna wash our hands like a million times throughout this process, because every time you touch the meat before you touch something else, like your seasonings and things like that, you want to wash your hands when you're dealing with meat. Alright, so we're gonna dry it, pat it dry, and butterfly it. Alright, so there it is. It's all butterfly and ready to be seasoned. We're gonna pat this meat down, we'll rub it down with some olive oil, because when you put olive oil on your meat before seasoning, it allows the seasonings to adhere better and just to stay on throughout the entire cooking process. So we're gonna season this meat with some adobo seasoning, some oregano, some garlic powder, and 1 pack of sazon. So on to our stuffing for our steaks that are beautifully seasoned over there and just resting and waiting their turn. We have some mozzarella cheese, we have a yellow pepper, a red pepper, and an orange pepper. We have some pesto sauce here and some scallion onions that we're going to cut up. We're going to cut up the scallion onions and we're going to cut up the peppers. So we have our onions and peppers cut up, we have our cheese with us, our pesto sauce, and our steak. So we're just about to stuff them. So we're going to go in with our cheese first. You just simply set it down. Make sure the whole piece of steak is covered. So for these size steaks, I only need 2 of these size slices of cheese. And we're gonna just set it down. Make sure you get you some good cheese. We're gonna go in with our pesto. And kind of just rub it around on top of the cheese. Just get it around. This pesto smells so good. Alright, so I'm gonna put a little more on this one because I want it to be like that one. And then we have our onions and peppers. So just make sure you have an even amount. In each one. We have our steaks peeled, and now we're going to roll them. I wish I had some of that like string that you can tie food with, but I don't. So I'm going to show you guys how I roll it, and then you place them in the cast iron skillet a certain way so they'll cook on the open side and they won't pop back open if you don't have those strings. So you just take it, make sure it's tight, and roll it. Some stuff is going to fall out, but we're going to put that in the pan. Take it and roll it tight. Whatever falls out will go in the pan with it. Okay, you may be able to like put some back in there on the sides or whatever. But if you can't get it back in there, we're just gonna pick it up with that spoon and put it in the skillet. in our cast iron skillet. This is my favorite skillet in the whole wide world. It's old and beat up, but it still works and I love it. I put 1 pepper in there to make sure that the oil was ready. And when you pick up your steak, make sure you pick it up so that it doesn't fall apart. Pick it up gently and tightly and just place them in the skillet. So they're in the skillet. This is much easier if I would have had that string that ties them together, but I don't, so I made it work with what I have. I have all these extra vegetables left over, so I'm just gonna scoop them up and put them in the skillet with our meat. So everything's all in there and we're just gonna let it cook. Once we know the bottom is done, we can feel comfortable with flipping them over without it opening up, because it's gonna cook like together and it won't open back up when you try to flip it. So just let it cook and we're gonna get to those asparagus. So we have some garlic in here. That minced garlic we made, it has some few pieces of onion, but we had that a few pieces of asparagus in here with the garlic. But we have the minced garlic that we minced up, that fresh minced garlic that we minced up on our own, and we're gonna saute it in this olive oil for a couple minutes, and then we're going to put the asparagus in here with it and season the asparagus while they're in the pan. So our garlic is about ready to put our asparagus in, and then we're gonna season them with the same old seasonings, the Mrs. Dash, the oregano, the sea salt, garlic powder, and onion powder. We're gonna do sea salt, onion powder, garlic powder. I'm not doing oregano in here. If I said that, I'm sorry. Mrs. Dash. And we're gonna put the Parmesan cheese on a little later when they're more cooked, when they're almost done. So we move the asparagus around so that they can all get some seasoning on them. And we're just gonna let them cook down and soften up. And we have our steaks that are still cooking. We want to make sure that bottom is done before we flip them so they will not come apart, because again, I didn't have the ties. But they're looking good. Oh my gosh. Look at that cheese melting in there. Looking good. Looking good. Looking good. They are looking delicious. And our asparagus are done. I like all my veggies overcooked, like my broccoli and all my veggies. I like them overcooked. So, but we're gonna start to put the Parmesan on here in a minute. All you do while the asparagus is still hot is add your freshly shredded Parmesan on top. That's it, and it's gonna melt down. So here it is, guys, our Parmesan garlic asparagus with our pesto mozzarella stuffed steak. Now I will admit it was a little difficult for me to keep this steak together without those ties. So you want to look into those, or either some toothpicks to really make it easy for you, but I did make it work. It's so delicious, so juicy, so flavorful. That pesto is amazing. If you haven't tried pesto and mozzarella mixed together, you better try it. Cause it's the bomb.
Yeah.
But there are the potatoes. They came out delicious.
Maybe take those potatoes.
And we're about to eat. Alright. Bye, y'all.